Will not be seen at this time, so that we may bring you the following KOMO for Kids' Sake special.
You're watching a true artistic and technical marvel, The Lion King, winner of 6 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. This amazing play has entertained more than 15 million theater goers since it opened on Broadway in 1997.
Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Poole, and welcome to this exclusive behind-the-scenes backstage look at a genuine theatrical phenomenon. As you can see, the much-anticipated Lion King has come to Seattle. In the next 30 minutes, we're going to pull back the curtain and introduce you to some of the talented people responsible for this amazing production. Here's a sneak peek at what you're going to see.
We'll introduce you to this principal actor who actually grew up in the Northwest. It turns out Simba's real-life mom lives right here in Seattle. You'll witness his triumphant return to this area to perform for his family and friends. We'll also meet this show's award-winning choreographer as we take you to rehearsals to watch these amazing characters come to life. And we'll sit down with The Lion King's visionary director, Julie Taymor. Her staging of this show made history at the Tony Awards, and she also lent her unique talents to designing all these incredible costumes. And speaking of costumes, we're headed backstage to see all the hard work that goes on in the wardrobe department. With over 500 costumes in this show, they never seem to run out of things to do. And after a quick trip through the makeup department, if anyone needs an understudy, Mr. Poole is ready. And finally, you'll get a close-up look into the world of the Lion King's puppet supervisor. She's quite literally got her hands full with over 250 kids to look after, including her favorite, a fellow who goes by the name of Zazu.
So, let's take you inside, where the Paramount has been transformed into an African savanna. But our story begins with the process of turning a cartoon into real life.
The roar of success on stage followed in the paw prints of one of the highest-grossing animated movies of all time.
Look at the movie, for example. It did, $320 million at the box office. Been translated into 32 different languages, including Hebrew and Zulu. That means that this film touched so many people around the world and became an icon, really.
Thomas Schumacher was the executive producer of the movie, and he took on the job of producer for the stage production.
The way to do The Lion King on stage is to make it purely theatrical. And there's only one person I could think of who could truly make a theatrical statement with it. It's myth, it's legend, it's telling an animal story but using humans. That's Julie Taymor.
Actually, my first job was to figure out how to put what is two-dimensional cartoons, celluloid, into a three-dimensional format that will do what that format, live theater, does better than film.
That's the fun for me as a director. This was a movie, and now I have to figure out how to take a movie and put it into a proscenium stage.
Through her incredibly innovative and imaginative production values, Taymor became the first woman in Broadway history to win the Tony Award for Best Director of a Musical. And she didn't stop there. She also won a Tony for Best Costume Design.
This idea of having the human being very visible and yet also having the image of the lion simultaneously, I have termed now a double event, so that the audience is aware of the human and the animal simultaneously.
The audience is there, and they fill in the blanks. They're part of the process. They know we're not going to do a whole animal with all the fur and the claws and the tails. All they need to do is see emotion, just a and maybe a certain kind of movement that is feline, and they get the rest. They don't need all that detail.
Given the combination of heavy costumes, animal-like movements, and dance, the physicality of these roles is incredibly taxing. It becomes essential for the actors to rehearse in their costumes. Choreographer Garth Fagan explains.
And here we suddenly had headpieces that added 3 feet to the dancer. So when you move your head and you're accustomed to do that, suddenly you have 3 more feet. You have to move it in a different way and support the head in a different way. And when you do this and then suddenly it goes there, it's entirely different line. So the extension has to get higher, you know. So a lot of balance had to happen.
But the actors are the ones who quite literally sweat the details.
I think in the first 6 months that I've been doing this role, you know, hardcore, like, you know, 8 shows a week, I think I've already lost like 5 inches off my waist and about 30 pounds altogether.
I knew that the costume was huge, but what I had to work on first was how to change the body into an animal. Before I went to the audition, I kind of looked at lions, trying to see what they really do. And then how to maintain the human side of it also, because it is the duality of the two. The mask is there, the puppet is there, but also the human is there, and it's making all of that one piece. And that took a lot of work.
I can honestly say that I do change. How I move changes as soon as my headpiece goes on. So it's an instantaneous transformation for me.
The first 3 weeks of rehearsal, I thought I was going to lose my mind. I have mechanics, batteries that go up in here, down my arm, that makes this my particular design. The head goes down and up and moves and changes and sits up here. And 3 weeks, I was just so consumed with trying to figure that out that I wasn't doing what I'm used to doing when I act. Somehow, like a month into rehearsal, it all starts to blend.
The Lion King follows the journey of the prodigal son Simba, who grows up to avenge the death of Mufasa, his father, and take his rightful place as king from his evil uncle Scar.
This prodigal son story, the classic myth story that the Lion King derives from, it's extremely important. That is the ritual of theater, telling the same story over and over again, hopefully with fresh faces and fresh mechanics and fresh ways.
Taymor's inspired costume designs, combined with state-of-the-art puppetry, music, and dance, breathe new life into this age-old story. The combination of American pop with African rhythms is staggering, equaled only by the daring choreography that mixes modern, ballet, African, and hip-hop.
It's about half of music done to my dancing and half of my choreography done to the music that was existing. Because as you know, there are new songs in The Lion King that weren't there before.
The songs Elton John and Tim Rice composed for the movie are still there, but so are new compositions from popular South African composers. It all culminates in an exhilarating marriage of entertainment and art. And director Taymor could not be more pleased to bring this to theatergoers here in the Northwest.
It's a tremendous excitement for us as the creators and for the company as performers to bring something to people who it's beyond their expectations. You know, you're giving something they didn't even know they wanted because they've never had it before. And I think that's thrilling.
As you can see, we're not dealing with your standard musical here. Now, when we come back, we're going to take you backstage and reveal some things that the audience never gets to see. We're also going to introduce you to a cast member who has local ties right here in the Emerald City. All that when we come back on The Lion King Backstage Pass.